So, have you ever met someone who just seems to have this boundless energy, maybe even a little bit chaotic on the surface, but you just know there's a whole lot more going on inside? Okay, let's unpack this then, because that feeling, it really captures the journey we're taking today. We're doing a deep dive into a really fascinating interview with Mai Âm Nhạc. It's from the Vietcetera YouTube channel Gens Troyen. And our mission here, just using the source material you gave us, is to kind of cut through that public persona, uncover the surprising insights, yeah, the real challenges, the quiet moments of growth for someone navigating public life as a young artist. You might recognize Mai Âm Nhạc from TikTok, known for, bringing laughter in songs, often seems quirky, funny. But as we dig into this interview, you'll see there are just so many layers under that energy.
Absolutely. And we're here to help you see those layers, this deep dive. It's really going to explore that tension, between her outward expression and her need for inner reflection, how she grapples with public perception, the big pivots she's made in her career, and importantly, what she truly values in relationships. We'll look at how these, seemingly small anecdotes she shares, they actually reveal much bigger things about growth, confidence, finding your way.
Okay, so let's dive right in. What does the source tell us about her right from the start? It says she was naturally talkative, hyperactive from birth. There's this great detail about her mother joking she ate and talked nonstop, even during pregnancy. Called her a talking blob.
A cookmonia, yeah, literally a talking lump. It's such a vivid image, isn't it?
Yeah.
Suggests this wasn't just a phase, it's fundamental.
Right. Apparently her mouth was bigger than her brain at first, so how did that kind of energy, play out as she grew up?
Well, what's interesting is how she describes learning to channel it. She talks about arguing back all the time initially, like 20 sentences for every one sentence someone said to her. But over time, she says she learned to argue more logically, more subtly.
Ah, so refining it, not suppressing it.
Exactly, refining a core trait, finding maybe more mature ways to let it out.
And yet, the source points to a pretty big shift happening now. She's become quieter online, Chimhun. She's deliberately looking inward, right? Look lay trong noitum. Searching inside herself. Why? The change from being so out there.
Yeah, that's a key question. She feels that energy, the one she used to just release everything with, is actually depleting from overuse. She doesn't see this quiet period as negative, though. More like becoming more mature, thinking carefully before speaking. Like a necessary pause after all that outward explosion.
A kind of rebalancing act. It really shows how draining it can be to constantly be that persona, without time to recharge inside. Okay, so what does that mean for how she deals with the world? Fame. The source mentions the challenges, right? Even parents complaining about why their kids like her.
Oh, yeah. That speaks volumes about that friction, doesn't it? When a public persona, especially one that's maybe unfiltered, energetic, clashes with traditional expectations, and she has a really nuanced take on how people see her. She draws this sharp line between genuine, carefree interaction from people who like her or treat her as an equal versus being treated carefree because someone, and she specifically mentions younger people here, looks down on her.
And that's the part that really gets to her, isn't it? The source says it haunts her. What la aman?
Totally. Being dismissed like that, looked down on, that's deeply negative for her. It really gets at that tension between just being liked, maybe for entertainment,
versus earning genuine respect.
Exactly. Respect.
Which links straight to her ambition, how she wants to be seen. Her mother, the source says, preferred her being respected over just being liked.
And what's fascinating is how she's evolved on that. She admits, she initially disagreed, valued being liked more, but now she sees the ideal as a mix, being both respected and liked.
Why both?
She thinks that's the key to making relationships last. Duitri dokmut moikwan hekdot. And that feeling of being looked down on, it really makes her scrutinize her path. She's asking herself, how do I stay on the right track and earn that respect?
Làm thế nào để được đúng hướng và làm thế nào để nhận lại được cái sự nể trọng.
It's interesting, too, her approach to negative feedback, at least from certain people. The source says she welcomes direct criticism, especially from older, experienced folks, sees it as guidance.
Yeah, that shows real maturity, I think. Being able to tell constructive input apart from just contempt. And she contrasts this with how she used to be, very confrontational. She'd swear back immediately, even make video calls to people who criticized her online. Got video call ngutalun?
Seriously, video calls. That's what she says. But she's learned to handle it more skillfully now. She knows it's essential for her long-term professional path. That's quite a shift. from immediate reaction to welcoming guidance.
Okay, let's switch gears to her career, because the source reveals this totally different path her parents had in mind. Translator or interpreter, right?
Yes, exactly. And the interview really highlights how thrilled they were when she got into University for Foreign Languages. Super proud. But she quit.
And she feels bad about it. The source quotes her saying, "Sorry, Mom and Dad, I didn't finish the program. Kansin loibo me. Kanda honghon dan nupchung chin." So why couldn't she stick with it? Or just get a standard office job, a kungfik banjay?
Well, the source gives a very clear, very her reason. She was just too hyperactive tung dong qua.
Ah, makes sense.
Yeah, she says she couldn't sit still, couldn't even meditate for more than like 3-4 seconds. She had this big realization.
Sure.
She just had to pursue singing. She needed to go sing, hold the mic, and sway. Iad, come my nuye.
Wow. That's a powerful example of needing your work to match who you are, even if it means disappointing people.
Absolutely, aligning with your fundamental nature.
So how did the music thing actually start then? The source points to something specific, right? A singing club at her university.
Yes. And this is where it gets really interesting. She didn't just stumble into it. She chose that university specifically for the club.
No way.
Yeah. She even wrote this really emotional email applying to join, talking about her dream. And her first paid gig came from that club. 500,000 VND?
Which probably felt like $1 million back then.
Exactly. She said it felt like a fortune. And it just solidified her desire to make money from music, especially because her family was struggling financially at the time. The source also mentions her mentor from the club, Oan Mingquan. He taught her songwriting, guitar.
Ah, so that led to covers,
Yeah.
performing in those feng tra venues.
Precisely. It shows how crucial that initial spark can be. That community, that one supportive mentor, it laid the foundation.
The interview also gets into different kinds of relationships. How does she define feeling loved? What does that look like for her?
It's fascinating. Her honesty here is just so unfiltered. She says feeling loved means being with someone where she can be totally, completely herself, flaws and all. She even uses the example of forgetting to flush the toilet.
Huh, relatable.
Totally. Being able to be messy like that without judgment, without gossip, that's key for her. And she also really values direct, honest feedback, even if it's critical.
Right, she said she'd be happy if someone just told her straight up.
Yeah, they're thinking, Dama cake diko giembru, and tell me straight to my face, I'd be happy. It's about feeling safe enough for that kind of authenticity.
And when she looks at all her relationships, family, friends, romance, how does she sort of rank them in importance?
The source gives a pretty clear picture. Family is fundamental, almost like bloodline dong mao. Essential. Pets are like limbs. Can't imagine life without them. And friendship holds huge value for her, often equal to, maybe even higher than romantic love.
Higher, really?
Yeah, her reasoning is that true friends, those tri-key soulmate friends, they're incredibly rare, hard to find, precious. Whereas romantic partners, she says quite candidly, can be replaced 3, 4, 5 times. They baba namlan.
Ooh, that's blunt.
It is, but it shows how much she treasures those deep friendships. She says she feels really lucky to have all these different kinds of important connections.
Okay, finally, the source touches on vulnerability. She admits to getting jealous easily.
Yes, and she's surprisingly specific about it. Gives the example of seeing a partner like photos of someone with a big bust, vuba.
Wow, okay. Very specific.
Right, and this raises that question. Where does that jealousy, that insecurity come from? For her, she connects it directly to a lack of self-confidence. She flat out admits her confidence is maybe only about 70% right now.
Huh. That's quite an admission.
It really illustrates that struggle, doesn't it? Between how you look or how you present and how you actually feel inside. She's realized true confidence has to come from within.
Yeah.
You can't force it. You can't get it just by comparing yourself to others.
And she's actively working on it, the source says, like going to the gym. Itapitan ren luyen.
Exactly. But crucially, she says it's not for others. It's to be beautiful for yourself.
That's a key distinction.
It really is. And the detail that she was crying about this specific issue just 3 months ago, 3 thang kashtai, shows how recent this is, how raw and ongoing that struggle with self-worth and comparison feels for her. It's very human.
Okay, wow. Let's try and unpack what we've really learned in this deep dive using the source material you brought us. We followed Mai Âm Nhac's story. From that inherent hyperactivity through dealing with public perception, parental expectations, to her making this deliberate choice for introspection, redefining success beyond just being liked. We saw how a simple university club became this unexpected catalyst for her passion, leading to a tough but necessary career change. And we got her insights on relationships, valuing that deep authenticity, that honest connection, all while acknowledging and working through that really relatable struggle with self-confidence and comparison, jealousy.
Yeah, this deep dive really underscores that the vibrant, maybe chaotic energy we see, it often comes with this really rich, complex inner life, ongoing challenges. Her journey, as told in the interview, it just highlights that continuous process of growth, doesn't it? Refining who you are naturally, navigating how others see you, pursuing what fits your spirit, even when it's hard, and realizing how vital those genuine relationships are. The source material really paints that layered picture.
So what does this all mean for you listening in? As you reflect on this exploration of Mai Âm Nhac's interview, maybe consider this. How much of your own outward energy, how you present yourself, really aligns with your internal needs, your reflections? Where do you find yourself seeking external validation versus building that confidence from within? And who are those people in your life? Your friends, your family, the ones who see you, accept you fully, messy parts included, the ones who provide that foundation for growth. Her story really drives home that finding your path, building genuine confidence, it's not usually a straight line, is it?
Not at all.
It's often messy, layered, requires tough choices. And it seems deeply tied to understanding and ultimately accepting yourself, even the parts that make you feel insecure or jealous sometimes.